The morning air was buzzing with anticipation as Meghan Markle prepared to appear on the Tamron Hall show. The studio lights gleamed, cameras rolled, and the audience waited eagerly. But no one expected the firestorm that was about to unfold between the Duchess and the seasoned TV host. Meghan walked onto the set wearing her signature confidence and poise, but Tamron Hall, known for her bold interviews, was already locked in with sharp questions. What started as a warm welcome quickly turned into a verbal tug-of-war. Tamron began with light topics, parenting, philanthropy, and Meghan's post-royal life. But when the subject shifted to Meghan's relationship with the media and public perception, the atmosphere in the room changed instantly. With a piercing tone, Tamron asked, "Do you think you've manipulated the narrative around your image?" Meghan paused, visibly stunned by the question. The room fell silent as tension thickened like a fog. Meghan attempted a composed response, "I've only ever tried to share my truth." But Tamron wasn't satisfied. She pressed harder, citing specific examples from interviews and public statements that seemed contradictory. The audience sensed the friction. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Meghan's smile faded. "I'm not here to be attacked," she said, her voice firm but slightly shaken. But Tamron doubled down. Tamron leaned forward. "Is it an attack to ask for accountability?" she asked. Meghan's eyes narrowed, her posture stiffening. "Accountability goes both ways," Meghan shot back. From there, the conversation unraveled. What was meant to be a constructive dialogue spiraled into heated debate. Meghan defended her choices. Tamron challenged them, her voice unwavering. Social media instantly lit up. Clips of the interview began circulating before the show even ended. Viewers posted reactions ranging from shocked admiration for Tamron to fierce defense of Meghan. As the confrontation escalated, Meghan accused the host of fueling tabloid narratives. "You're no different from them," she said bitterly. Tamron, taken aback, responded sharply, "That's unfair, and you know it." The studio crew exchanged worried glances. Producers whispered into earpieces, unsure whether to cut the segment or let it continue. But neither woman showed signs of backing down. Tamron asked Meghan about the infamous Oprah interview. "Do you regret any part of it?" Meghan visibly recoiled. "I regret trusting that people would understand," she replied, voice trembling slightly. Tamron pressed again, "But do you take any responsibility for the fallout?" Meghan's expression hardened. "I take responsibility for telling my truth. Not for how people twisted it." The clash became personal. Meghan brought up Tamron's past controversies, calling her out for alleged hypocrisy. The audience gasped audibly. Tamron responded with poised fury. "Don't deflect," Tamron said. "This is about you." Meghan stood up slightly in her seat, clearly agitated. "And maybe that's the problem, people always make it about me." Tamron fired back, "Because you put yourself at the center of everything." At that point, Meghan stood fully. "I'm not doing this," she said, pulling off her mic and stepping away. Producers scrambled. Tamron remained seated, watching Meghan storm off the stage. The cameras captured every step. Security stood frozen, unsure whether to intervene. Meghan paused near the exit, turned around, and addressed the audience. "You came here to see a conversation. But this was an ambush." Then she walked off. Tamron, now alone on the stage, looked into the camera. "Ladies and gentlemen, that was not how we expected today to go." The audience broke into uncertain applause. Online reactions exploded. "Tamron Hall did what no other journalist dared," one post read. Others accused her of going too far and embarrassing a guest on live TV. Media outlets pounced. Headlines varied. Markle storms off, Tamron Hall exposes the Duchess, TV show turns to chaos. Commentators began choosing sides. Hours later, Meghan's PR team released a brief statement: "Today's appearance was regrettable. Meghan stands by her values and won't be silenced." Tamron had yet to respond. Behind the scenes, staffers described the fallout as the most intense moment in show history. Some reportedly considered walking out in solidarity with Meghan. Insiders claimed Tamron received both praise and death threats. Security around her was tightened. Meanwhile, Meghan retreated to a private location, declining all interview requests. The network faced a dilemma. Ratings had skyrocketed, but backlash brewed. Advertisers expressed concern over the tone of the segment. In a special episode the next day, Tamron addressed the incident. I ask hard questions. I always have. I won't apologize for that, she declared. But the debate was far from over. Social justice advocates took to the airwaves, defending Meghan. Women of color in media are held to impossible standards, one commentator said. Others argued that Meghan had become too protected, too shielded from accountability. She wanted a platform without the pressure, one op-ed claimed. Royal watchers had a field day. Some saw the confrontation as proof Meghan still struggled with criticism. Others believed Tamron crossed a professional line. Days passed, and footage of the interview continued to trend. On TikTok, dramatic reenactments gained millions of views. The drama had turned into entertainment. Tamron's show issued a clarification: "We remain committed to open, respectful dialogue. Our intention was never to cause distress." Despite the firestorm, Tamron's ratings hit record highs. Producers began eyeing a potential Emmy nomination for the controversial episode. Meanwhile, Meghan gave her first public statement since the incident during a charity event in Los Angeles. She did not mention Tamron but spoke of grace in the face of provocation. Paparazzi caught photos of Meghan appearing emotionally exhausted. Friends say the experience left her shaken but not broken. Tamron remained stoic, refusing to issue an apology. "If we can't ask tough questions, what's the point of journalism?" she told a fellow anchor. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to analyzing the body language, tone, and timing of the confrontation. Everyone had an opinion. A petition surfaced online, demanding Tamron Hall resign. It gained 200,000 signatures within a week, but also sparked a counter-petition defending her. Tamron's team stood firm. "Our host is a journalist, not a cheerleader," their statement read. Meghan's fans, however, weren't convinced. The situation raised broader questions. What are the boundaries in celebrity interviews? Should public figures be immune to criticism? TV critics began dissecting the episode on news panels. "It was a masterclass in confrontation," one said. "Or a failure in empathy," another argued. Days turned into weeks, but the story remained in circulation. Even late-night comedians jumped in, making light of the on-air drama. Some insiders say Meghan privately regretted agreeing to the interview. She wanted to set the record straight, but it went off the rails, one friend claimed. Tamron's producers released behind-the-scenes footage showing Meghan agreeing to all topics before the show. Fans debated whether that justified the tough line of questioning. Legal analysts speculated whether Meghan might sue for defamation or emotional distress. So far, no legal action had been taken. Public support was sharply divided. Polls showed near equal support for Meghan and Tamron, an indication of how polarizing both women had become. Influencers capitalized on the drama, creating content themed around media accountability and celebrity fragility. Views soared. Even royal family insiders weighed in, anonymously. One said, "This is exactly why the palace distanced itself." Another claimed sympathy for Meghan. Despite the noise, Tamron Hall continued hosting her show as usual. Each episode now had higher ratings, thanks in part to the explosive Meghan appearance. Meanwhile, Meghan shifted focus to a documentary project, hinting that she'd address media manipulation, in her own words. Netflix and Hulu both expressed interest in exclusive rights to the footage or follow-up interviews. Bidding wars began behind closed doors. Tamron was offered guest commentary slots on major news networks. Her brand had been bolstered, even amid the backlash. Oprah reportedly reached out to Meghan offering private support, but warned her to avoid escalating the feud further. Media watchdog groups began using the Tamron-Meghan clash in journalism ethics seminars. It became a case study overnight. YouTube creators produced hour-long breakdowns of the full interview. Some called it TV gold. Others called it a disaster. Despite the controversy, both women walked away more influential than before. Their reputations, though scarred, remained intact. Meghan re-emerged weeks later with a new podcast episode titled Grace Under Fire. It was seen as a subtle reference to the Tamron clash. Tamron didn't respond directly, but opened her next show with, "We ask tough questions here. Always have, always will." The world watched. The conversation had moved far beyond just Meghan and Tamron, it became a cultural flashpoint. In the end, both women stood their ground. Both were criticized. Both were praised. And neither apologized. And while the flames of that moment have dimmed, the impact still lingers in headlines, hashtags, and hearts. Months later, when asked about it during another interview, Meghan simply said, "That day taught me who I am under pressure." Tamron, speaking at a journalism conference, remarked, "We need courage in interviews, not cruelty. There's a difference." Industry experts now call that episode a watershed moment for daytime TV. A moment when civility and confrontation collided onscreen. Books are being pitched. Documentaries are in the works. This story, it seems, is far from over. It was never just a conversation. It was a clash of narratives, identities, and expectations. For better or worse, it showed how media, fame, and emotion intersect in unpredictable ways. And in the court of public opinion, no verdict will ever be unanimous. What's certain is that millions watched, eyes wide, mouths agape, as two powerful women refused to back down. It was TV history in the making. Messy, honest, unfiltered. And whether you side with Tamron or Meghan, one thing's clear, the world will be talking about that interview for a long, long time.